Okay, so hello to any or everyone who's watching this. Um, so basically, this channel is kind of just like videos that I'm uploading, I guess, kind of for me, or like videos you can just watch to see like if you relate or anything. But I'm pretty much making these for like my mental health's sake. So far this year has been like extremely awful, and like I just need to talk about it, you know? And I feel like this is a great way to talk about it and just to have someone listen, because a lot of the times, I'll talk to people about like what I'm going through and what, you know, and sometimes it's good just to have someone to listen with like can't speak without like feedback or anything, like, just to know someone's listening, because I know I'm the type of person to always just listen. Like I'll just, I'll listen to you. I'll hear you out. I'll be there for you. I'll just, if you want someone to listen, I'm all ears. But like, I don't know, I feel like lately when I talk to people, like I feel like they are expected to say something, which is fine. Like I don't, like, you don't have to say anything. I just want to be heard, I just want someone to agree with me. And I don't know, like, without going too into detail about why I'm like this, I don't know, just all of this started like this year, 2020. Today it's Monday, November 30th. It's my first video, and like, I don't know. If this goes too long, I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of trouble uploading this, but like, I try to make my videos kind of short, but for the most part, I don't know. I don't really know how to start this. Like this whole thing, because to understand why I'm thinking like this, we'd have to go back to the beginning. But then again, I feel like I should introduce myself first. Okay, I'll wait. My name is Floor Penelope, or you can call me Penelope or Floor. I am currently 21. I just turned 21 back in August 17th. For the most part, okay, well, I am currently working at Safeway grocery store. I'm from California. And for the most part, I've always been like a pretty happy person. Like I've never had a reason to be upset. Like I'd get upset, like, and sad, but like I'd usually like bounce back easily from that. And this year just kind of like, I'm pretty sure for a lot of people too, it's put people in like a bad mental state, or like a bad situation financially. For me, it's been mostly mentally, somewhat financially. I mean, I was still working during, because grocery stores didn't close, but more mentally. And that would have to be, well, the first shitty thing that happened this year, which wasn't like, how would I say, it wasn't like the focal point of my, I don't want to call it depression, because it's not that bad, I think. But I've been really, really at a low point this year. Would have to have been, it started out with a breakup. And I don't want to go too into detail, on what happened. I don't like to talk about it. But like, stuff went down, and long story short, we broke up. And then while I was trying to get over that, this was back in January, and then of course, you know, we had the whole like World War III stuff going on, all that bullshit. And then of course COVID happened in March. So that was like a pretty nerve-wracking thing, because like this whole, sorry, I don't even think I'm supposed to say COVID, but okay, I said it again. So this whole pandemic, right? You know, so that happened. Okay. And so my mom had her own business. She's a, how do you say it? Like hairstylist? She does hair, right? She had her own business. And I was going to work and to school at the time, and I was doing so good, like, you know, aside from like the breakup and stuff. Like I was doing well. Grades were up, like everything seemed to be looking up. But no, then COVID happened. I said it again. The pandemic happened. And then my mom couldn't work, obviously. And then eventually she lost the shop. So she was renting and she couldn't pay it anymore. So we just had to let that go. And I was like, well, shit. Okay, so I had to drop out of school and work full time, because both my parents weren't working. My other sister wasn't working. My sister and my brother-in-law, I think, stopped working. And yeah, shit hit the fan really hard and really quick. Like there was no stopping. Like there wasn't a time to like process everything, especially since I was getting through the breakup. You know, it was kind of just like, fuck, you know. So then I, you know, like I said, I had to drop out of school and just keep working full time. And it was good, like for the most part. Everything just changed so quickly, and I kind of feel like I lost myself through all of that, because I started hanging out with, like, I guess kind of the wrong people-ish. Just doing all these stupid things, which wasn't good. And so eventually my health started to, you know, kind of like my health physically, I guess. And so that happened. And then my mom went through a mental breakdown because of that. And so I think at that point I was kind of just numb to everything, because I was like, well, this doesn't even feel like, I had such different plans for this year. Like, I'm sorry if it's kind of tilted, like the camera, because it's like, it is. Anyway, like I had different plans for this year, and everything should just hit the fan, like I said, really fast. Like it was no time to process anything. So like by the time that did happen, I was just numb to everything. I just couldn't process it at the time. And so it took months, and then like I started to realize, like, oh shit, that happened and this happened, and like it's not going to be the same. So then in about July is when I had my first like very low point, where, like I said, I want to call it depression because it's not diagnosed, but I felt so completely just lowest of the low. I could not get out of bed. Like, and I was like that for like a week, I think. But that day was just like the worst. Like I could not again, I could not get out of bed. I was just like, no motivation to do anything. And like, aside from this YouTube channel, I do have another one where it's like I film videos on like a hobby that I have. Anyway, so I had stopped uploading, and then my subscribers were like, oh, like, where have you been? Are you okay? And so I uploaded another video, like, and then sort of briefly explaining my situation, and then everyone was so sweet about it. They were super understanding, like, hey, you know, I hope you're doing well and stuff. I'm just like, I really appreciate it. You know, it's just been hard because of all this going on. And so fortunately they understood, which I'm grateful for. But yeah. And then I was sort of talking to someone, you know, which kind of, like, in August we met. Well, let's see, I met him on Bumble. And so I had met someone, and things were like looking so good from there. Like, everything was feeling good. Like, he was really nice guy. But then, what's it called? It came back. Like, it comes and goes, the waves of what feels like depression. But again, I don't want to call it that. It's just like these waves of feeling very low. So it came back, and I feel like that kind of ruined it, because, like, I don't want to assume it was because of me, but like, I feel like he didn't want to fix this, which I don't blame him. Like, you shouldn't have to fix anybody in a relationship. Like, not really, well, because it wasn't a relationship, we were just like, you know, getting to know each other, I guess. But like, you shouldn't have to give someone that burden of fixing yourself or helping fix yourself, if that makes sense. At least for me, that's how I see it. Like, I don't want to put anyone, or I don't want to give anyone that burden of having to fix me, you know? Especially since then, since like the beginning of the year and everything that's happened, I've come a long ways. And like, yeah, all of it was tough, you know, just trying to like get through it. I still don't even know how I did it. Like, how did I get through all of that? But I just kept telling myself during, like, take it day by day. That's what I did, and somehow it still shocks me how I made it through that. Like, I still don't know. It's amazing. But what else was I gonna say? Like, I'm now looking back at it, I am grateful that that happened, because I feel like I've aged. Like, I always tell people, I feel like I've aged 10 years. Like, that made me grow so much as a person. Like, the breakup made me realize, like, I had a lot of issues myself. I had problems. I was like under stress from other things, aside from the relationship. I was still immature in a sense. So I would get mad at really dumb things. Like, I was at fault too. Regardless of how it ended and what happened, I also had my issues, right? And so that made me realize, okay, that's what you need to fix. You need to stop acting like a child, and you need to just stop getting mad over dumb shit. And excuse my language. But yeah, it pisses me off how I was like that. And so I was like, okay, I'll fix that. You know, I just kind of like, you know, obviously you have your limits, but like, what I would get upset about was super fucking stupid. now I know that I know my limits, I guess, as far as, being respected and given respect, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, and just like this year has made me realize I've seen a lot, I guess, the real side of people, as they say. And I needed that this year because I've put a lot of trust into some people that I should not have. So I guess in a sense, it made me realize that I shouldn't trust so easily. But like, just kind of like really, really understand and know the people you are telling this stuff to, because they can always tell anybody. And like, I'm the type of person that doesn't like my stuff to be told just like, that everyone knows, right? Like, I don't like people to tell my business, especially when it comes to my mental health, like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I just don't like my stuff being told out there without me being the one to explain it, because it could be taken out of context. Like, people could have a different perspective. The person telling it might have like a different tone. Like, you never know, right? I don't know, maybe I'm just rambling. I don't know if this makes sense to anybody, but like, but again, this is more for me, and just like, if you want to listen, cool. If you don't, it's all right. But yeah, I've always felt like I've been really strong mentally. So it's somewhat no surprise that I've gotten through this, all things considered. And so yeah, like I was saying, like, that feeling of sadness came back, and like, it's hard to explain to people like why I'm feeling sad, because like I legit still don't even know. Like, I always say it's like an accumulation of everything that's happened this year, but I don't know. Like, it just comes and goes. And it's to the point where like, and I cry about it because it feels awful, I don't know. It's a lot to think about. Like, and I think it is like an accumulation of everything that's happened. Like, it just comes and goes, right? But it's like I focus on something, like a part of everything that's happened, if that makes sense. So like, I'll think about like, oh, well, no, let me say this. Recently, it's been like, how can I trust someone that I'm in a relationship with again, right? Because, as I mentioned before, the last relationship I was in didn't end too well, and without going into detail, just leave it at that, right? Like, I want to be able to love again, but it's like hard, like, how do you trust someone like that? And I've been in the talking stage like, what, twice before, and it hasn't worked out. And so when I get back into that talking stage, it's kind of like, oh, it's really nerve-wracking, because like, at the same time, you want to put an effort to like make things, I guess, work, especially if you really like that person. But at the same time, you don't want to put in too much effort, because at any moment that person can easily just flip, you know, do like a 180, you know, and like they could just not feel the same the next day and just kind of just leave you, right? And it's like all that energy I put into like talking to you and, you know, liking you, and then all of a sudden you kind of just flip. Like, it's exhausting. And for me, I'm like the type of person where like I hate small talk, but you know, it's essential in getting to know someone. So constantly having to do that, it's very exhausting. You know, I'm like the type of person, I don't like to waste time, right? How do I say this? I just want something stable. I want something for the long run, right? But like just that whole process, and it's something you have to be patient with, because to have something to last, it has to have a good foundation, right? So you kind of just have to get to know the person, make sure you really vibe well, right? And that takes a lot of energy into it. You really got to put everything, especially for something to last very long, you know. It's not going to take like an overnight. It's not an overnight thing, right? But this is hard, yo. And I'm just, at this point, I'm kind of just going with it. I'm going with the flow. Whatever freaking happens, happens, right? But it sucks, because at the end of the day, I don't see myself the same anymore. I don't feel the same. And I feel like that's because I don't feel genuinely happy anymore. Like, I don't know. I've always seen myself as like that happy person, happy and nice person. At least that's what everyone has said about me. Like, I would get like smile compliments, like, oh, you have such a beautiful smile, you're smiling all the time. And I'm just like, thank you. And you know, and it feels good. You know, it really does when people just like notice your smile. I love smile compliments. But yeah, now I just don't feel happy, and like that has kind of, and because of that, I feel lost, because I've always associated myself with being as a person that's always been happy. And now that I don't feel happy, I don't feel like myself, right? So I'm lost. I'm just like, who am I? I'm still trying to figure myself out. And it's like, I don't want to say I don't love myself, because after everything that's happened and realizing that I was strong enough to get through it, I'm just like, wow, I did that. It's like, I know I haven't gotten into like detail of like what exactly happened, but it was a lot, you know, enough to make me really sad. So just the fact that I got through it without losing myself all crazy and getting into like drugs and drinking all crazy and all that, you know, it makes me proud of myself, right? And now, instead of seeing myself just as this happy person, I see myself as like a strong person, you know? And I feel more wise, if you will. Like, I just feel good about myself, right? And I hope I keep this feeling good about myself, because it feels great. It does. I feel like I'm ready for anything, I guess, if you will. Yeah. Lately, I've been feeling good. But you know, there are some times where I'm just like I said, it comes and goes. Recently it's been coming, but it's just like a little bit where I just like overthink, and then I start to like you know, I don't know. I have anxiety too, so that could be like, you know, I start to overthink, and then I start like sort of hyperventilating, and I'm just like, well, you know, it just, there's a lot in my mind, just like thoughts like what if, which is awful. It sucks because it just puts me in that mood where I'm just like, I feel like shit, you know? It's terrible. It almost happened a little bit ago. I just came out of Target and I was just overthinking, and I just started like I couldn't catch my breath. Like, it's, you know, the hyperventilating, I'm just like, and that's happened, I want to say like twice this month. Like I said, I've never felt anything like this. But I guess that's all a part of this year. You really only have yourself in the end. Like, I have my family and my sisters and everything, but sometimes, you know, you just gotta deal with stuff on your own. And it helps too, because like, at least, you know, you have that independence, right? Where you don't have to depend on anyone to help you, and like, you know, for the most part, you got it on your own, right? And that's also a good feeling too, being independent, which I've been working on a lot this year, because I'd say if it wasn't for this year, and like, I think if it wasn't for the breakup, I would still be, I guess, somewhat dependent on the person I was with, right? But like, I'm telling you, this year was hell, but I'm grateful it happened at the same time. Because I've matured a lot. I've grown. The growth is real. Like, I don't know, I just feel happy for myself. Like, I'm, for the most part, at peace now when I'm not like overthinking. Like, when I think about, like, okay, it was a good thing that this happened. You know, I'm at peace. I feel good. Like, I'm good. I'm good. When you really think about it, it's a blessing in disguise, like they say. I guess that's all I have to say for now. I know this is all like kind of all over the place, but like, it's just what's been on my mind. Just a lot of stuff that's been on my mind for now. I'm probably gonna try to upload videos just whenever I like feel like it. I was gonna upload yesterday, but like, I didn't really know where to. For the most part, the videos are probably gonna be shot in my car, because I feel weird doing it at home, you know? It's kind of like I want these videos to be somewhat private. I know, YouTube, right? But like, to be shown to like random people, you know? Just random people. Is, like I said, I don't need feedback. I just want someone to listen. There we go. Like, if you want to comment down below, feel free. Be nice for the most part, I guess. If you don't know, it's whatever. But yeah, this is pretty much what I'm going to be talking about. Just stuff that's on my mind. Feel free to subscribe. If not, it's cool. Like or comment, whatever. But you know, you don't have to. Yeah, we'll see where this goes. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it.